Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Gegard Mousasi to defeat King Mo Lawal. And I'm here to talk about Armen Petrosian versus Rodolfo Vieira. Vieira is 34 years old, 9-2 as a pro, and he's giving up 3 inches of height, but has 2 inches of reach over now 33-year-old Armen Petrosian, who is 9-2 and just turned 33 yesterday, I think. Because when I wrote down these notes, he was 32. So he is a whole year older. He has gained a year in one day. That is how that works. But Armen Petrosian, he is 9-2, as I said. 6 wins via TKO, 3 wins via decision. And the 3 wins via decision are his UFC wins. That's no coincidence. He's a guy that is just not as dangerous as he's leveled up in his career now. But he is still a very good kickboxer, and he is still a very good point fighter. He's a guy that's shown in his UFC career, which is only 4 fights deep, that he's able to fight hard for 15 minutes. He's done so all 4 times, and he's generally been the fresher guy down the stretch. His one loss comes to Caio Borralho, who I think is fighting in the next fight. His one UFC loss, I should say. And that was a striker versus grappler matchup, which is what this one is. You know, Caio Borralho, he's definitely not as dangerous as Rodolfo Vieira, and not nearly as skilled, I'm sure. But he is a very good controlling grappler, and definitely in the same realm of as Rodolfo Vieira goes, as far as the middleweight division goes, I should say. But Armen Petrosian did survive with Caio Borralho. If he was just a pure dogshit kickboxer who wasn't patching up these holes, he wouldn't have survived. He would have fallen apart like Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. So there's something to take away from that loss. There's something to take away from his other loss as well. He might, I don't want to say he might have a weak chin, but his chin has been cracked. He was knocked out by this guy, Hassan Yousefi, and it was his chin failing him. He is a very good kickboxer, Armen Petrosian, and he was fighting this guy Hassan, who is a brawler, and the brawler caught him. He had that requisite power, and it hit the chin in the right spot, I guess. I'm not going to write him off as having a weak chin. He's a healthy guy, 33 years old, and whatever, but I took note of it. I don't think Rodolfo Vieira is going to knock him out, but Rodolfo Vieira certainly hits hard, and he's a big, strong guy, and his striking is underrated. His striking might be more underrated than Armen Petrosian's grappling. Rodolfo Vieira, he can definitely crack with a big overhand and whatever, but also he's comfortable now on the feet. And he proved that to me in his loss against Chris Curtis. These guys have a 1 decision loss each in the UFC, and it showed something. It showed that these guys are both at least comfortable in their weakest areas. And Rodolfo Vieira was not going to get that takedown against Chris Curtis, and while didn't let it stop him from trying, he definitely, was discouraged and whatever, and he didn't go anywhere. He made it to the final bell. And of course, Chris Curtis maybe didn't put his foot on the gas or whatever, but he didn't need to, because he was winning that fight comfortably. But still, Rodolfo Vieira, I do think his striking has come along enough where, at the very least, it can be used to set up a takedown. Rodolfo Vieira, that's what he's going to be looking to do. He's got a 9-2 record, 8 finishes via submission, 1 via TKO. He's one of the best grapplers ever in the UFC, a world-class guy, and that's why I'm sure he is haunted by that loss to Anthony Hernandez. Anthony Hernandez got him in a guillotine in round 2 after he was exhausted. He was exhausted for like a few minutes after dominating early, but he wasn't able to put Fluffy away. And Fluffy is one of those guys who has really good submission skills. He's definitely not as good of a grappler overall as Rodolfo Vieira, but once he got him tired, he's one of the few guys that I think could have put him away via submission. Probably not a possibility in this fight, but Rodolfo Vieira's cardio is a concern. I can't say it's, just like Armen Petrosian's chin. I can't say it's a concern that I expect to be there in every fight, because since then we've seen him go and get a finish in round 3 over Dustin Stoltzfus. And we've also seen him get a round 2 finish over Cody Brundage, which, whatever. And in fact, we also saw him lose again to Chris Curtis via decision. So, Rodolfo Vieira, he's a guy that I don't have too many doubts about, and there's no reason to doubt his chin either, of course. And I think he's a guy that has a distinct advantage on the ground, the physicality to get it there, and enough traits overall where if things don't go his way, I don't think he's quite out of the fight. Especially against a guy like Petrosian, who, despite being much better technically as a kickboxer, he is not that dangerous at the UFC level. And I think Rodolfo will give him some room to figure shit out and make this his fight again if things don't go his way. But I do think they're going to go his way early anyway, but I can't trust it. I threw a sprig on submission round 1 at plus 420, but still, my only real bet for this fight is his money line at minus 110. Wouldn't surprise me if either guy won a decision, but wouldn't surprise me if Rodolfo won a decision, and of course it wouldn't surprise me if he got a finish. Round 2, 3, and certainly in round 1. Rodolfo Vieira is the pick. I think this fight will be a striker versus grappler fight. Both guys seem pretty durable and getting to be well-rounded, and I'm taking the grappler to win. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit. Check out my other videos.